The Peace Corps is a 27-month-long commitment. Little do you know, you are in it for life.
This is a slam poem I wrote in honor of the 50th anniversary of Peace Corps. And I asked my friend Anthony to read it to help me punctuate this talk. Okay, how many of you know someone that served in the Peace Corps? Please stand up. All right, look around at each other. You represent the whole community of people who support Peace Corps volunteers, because behind every volunteer is a family. Now I need a favor from you. I need you to take some time with that volunteer and ask them to tell you just one story. Give them the gift of your undivided attention, because the gift of listening is an act of love. Please sit down. Their stories will surprise you. Their stories will inspire you. I believe Peace Corps stories can change the world.
When volunteers start, their minds are wrapped around 1,000 different words for help, empower, assist, aid, facilitate, uplift, yet no idea how to use them in a sentence, let alone in life.
My own Peace Corps story is one of enchanted luck, starting in 2007 when I launched my service to Malawi. I'm from Madison, Wisconsin, and trust me when I tell you, it is a really long way from there to Malawi. After months of packing and preparation, my parents saw me off at the tiny Dane County Airport. We were a sobbing trio of hugs and tears, and during our display, my mother bumped a security guard by accident. He said, "You have to step back, ma'am." So after I went through security, my little tear-streaked mother approached him and said, "Just so you know, she's going to Africa for 2 years." He didn't miss a beat before replying, "I know just how you feel. My son's moving to Illinois." Malawi is a tiny country in Southeast Africa. It's beautiful, poor, but pathologically friendly. We were greeted by volunteers and staff screaming their heads off at the airport with excitement as we filed out into the bright sunshine. They oohed and ahed at how clean and bright-eyed we were. 3 months of training in a host family redefined the words intensity, growth, humility, forever. And at the end, we were coated in village mud and the sweat of our efforts, and not nearly as clean as that arrival day.
Yes, we opened borders, but more importantly, minds and hearts, winning them, earning them with the skills of our training and the purity of our efforts.
So after 3 months of training, I landed in my new home for the next 2 years, the village of Malomo. Yes, it was Malia in Malawi in Malomo. It was the alliteration adventure, and it was picturesque rural Africa. I lived on this ridge where I could see the sunrise and the sunset. I woke up to the sounds of chickens and women pounding corn every morning. I got to know my students, and one by one, a day, a moment, a smile at a time, they changed my life.
Never will you feel more alive. It will surprise you. It is a progression of connection. If you are lucky, the simplicity settles in, and it's human meets human, heart to heart.
My students were also my teachers. They gave so freely of their presence and spirit. The boundaries of geography and culture melted away, leaving laughter and love. It is no doubt the human connection that truly defines Peace Corps.
It's all right there. It's tucked into the humble corners of each day. 2 years will fly by.
After 2 years in Malomo, 2 years of sharing food, learning and growing, walking and discovering, it was time to leave my new family.
And then you come back.
I was certainly not done with Peace Corps. I needed to keep serving, and my insane luck continued. I became a Peace Corps employee, landing my dream job, Third Goal Program Specialist. The 3 goals of the Peace Corps haven't changed since 1961. And the third goal is to promote a better understanding of other people on the part of Americans. And I thought, when I started this job, what better way to humanize a place and a people than with a story? Storytelling has had this amazing revival of late, with popular shows like The Moth and This American Life. This ancient art form is being reinvented and modernized. As the famous Nigerian writer Chimamanda Adichie says in her famous TED Talk, The Danger of a Single Story, stories matter. Many stories matter. So in this role, I launched a storytelling training program to help volunteers tell true, authentic stories from their countries of service. Peace Corps stories do 3 things. They allow the volunteer to stay connected to, remember, and share their experiences in their own authentic voice. They transport and entertain the listener, and they achieve Peace Corps' third goal. Volunteers tell stories everywhere, from classrooms to open mics, entertaining their audiences and transporting them. They capture their imaginations, and the impact is immense. To date, I've trained hundreds of volunteers from all decades of Peace Corps service, from the 72-year-old who served in Colombia in the 60s to the 24-year-old just returning from Ghana. We have stories from Afghanistan to Zambia and everywhere in between. And in true Peace Corps grassroots fashion, volunteers in over 15 states have organized their own storytelling events. Peace Corps podcasts have sprung up, and there's even a Share Your Service Return Volunteer group working to develop an app. These storytelling efforts achieve, with creativity, cultural sensitivity, and respect, Peace Corps' third goal, to bring it home.
You are returned volunteers, never former, and you try to trace the patterns of home, and you stumble and get dizzy. And people from the place you once knew ask, how was Peace Corps? And what did you do out there? Well, and you will pause. I changed the world. I changed myself.
Helping volunteers hone their stories has been a beautiful experience. It's been my privilege to do this work for the last 5 years as staff or unofficial storyteller-in-chief. As this chapter of my Peace Corps journey closes, I will bring all the skills, stories, and magic to my next call to serve. Here's the thing about Peace Corps stories. They are funny and poignant. They are surprising and inspiring. But I believe the best stories are about the subtle, the everyday, the shift in the heart or mind. Peace Corps makes the ordinary extraordinary. I thank you for your attention. I feel such gratitude for my opportunities and my whole community of loved ones, including the Peace Corps family. To close this small piece of Peace Corps' story, I will share the last lines of my poem, Myself. It's been 50 years of sweat and smiles, moments and memories, adventure and admiration, respect and realization, and waiting and waiting and waiting. It's been 50 years of imagination and inspiration, 50 years on paper, but we are a part of so much more. We bring hope to the forgotten corners of the world and find peace at our core.